Well, I mean, at first I wasn't freaked out till I saw the old men getting really upset and excited, and they were taking it very serious. And I realized, my God, I'm really in the middle of a eyes wide shut type meeting. So I'm honored that you did that. Of course, Shooter was born Waylon Albright Jennings, was born Roland, the only child of Waylon Jennings and Jesse Coulter. He lived his first few years in the crib on his parents' tour bus. He said, I thought everybody's family was like mine, he remembers. Again, it's great to have you here. When did you start waking up to this whole global system, and what would your dad think of the world today?
Well, you know, it's interesting you ask that, because my dad was a very individual. He had a very individual political view, because he didn't really ever support anybody that was in office, but he could recognize when things were done right and wrong. But I think if he were to see what's going on now, he would agree with us 100%. I mean, there's a farce going on, and the world is changing, and it's getting closer and closer to being in the grip of the United Nations and everything that's going on. It's scary. Well,
you know we've got Willie Nelson against the New World Order. He comes on the show. And so it's great to hear from Waylon Jennings' son that Waylon would have been on board against this. But I mean, what else would he do? He was a great guy and a great patriot. So getting back to you, Shooter, when did you start to figure out there was a bigger picture?
Really, my kind of awakening to all of this was in the last 3 years. I really didn't pay as much attention to what was going on, and I'm a real big fan of Coast to Coast AM, and I've been listening to that for about 15 years since I was in high school, and I have to attribute part of it to David Icke, because even though his philosophy is pretty nuts at the end of it, you know, his message is ideally the true message. When I heard him on the air, it completely made me start digging. And I had known about you, but then I started watching all your episodes. I mean, I watched all your stuff on the swine flu when that first broke, and your interview with Ike, and then I Bohemian Grove, and really dug into that world, and then kind of absorbed as much of this as I possibly could. And
sure, well, Ike. I mean, Ike is a visionary and has certainly woken up tens of millions of people. And his idea of the mind revolution, breaking free of the control paradigms, is just absolutely powerful. So we're blessed to have David. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you know, but for me, after I absorbed all of it, you know, it made me look at the world differently. And I had already started. The reason I started caring is because, you know, I just had a daughter, and she's going to be 2 in November. And that there was something that my woman had been telling me to do for years, but I didn't figure it out until I had this little girl who was living with meaning and really digging in the representation of truth and the importance of truth and being a true person. And it really changed the way it motivated my life. So when I found out about these things, I felt, you know, that I had to dig, and I had to find all the answers myself. And I studied, you know, the Masons, and went deep into all these different sects. And I have all these books, everything from the occult to the other thing. I just familiarized myself with what was going on and the terminology and everything. And it really brought me to this I feel like a completely different person when I see the world. And I see how much of it is just right there in front of our faces with the television and in school and things they do, the way they set you up, you know, for life. You think that your whole job is to make money and die, but you can make a difference, you know?
Absolutely. And that's what's so exciting about the awakening that's happening across the board. That's why the controllers are trying to bring all these different control mechanisms in. Your website is shooterjennings.com, and we'll put that up on screen.
All it has is tour dates. You know, I'm actually playing tonight with Willie in Newkirk, Oklahoma. You were talking
I
about
saw
Willie.
that. Yeah. Tell folks about some of your tour dates coming up. You're playing with Willie tonight.
Yeah, playing with Willie tonight, and tomorrow we're playing in Abilene, Texas. And then we had a show with Cross Canadian in Lubbock the next day, but it got canceled because of this Texas Tech stuff, so we're all going home. And then we're launching a tour with this band, J.J. Gray, in Mofro. So you can, you know, we're just kind of out there preparing for this album to come out, and then when it comes out, we're going to go do a big tour with that. But the album is such a different step, and it's rooted in exactly what we're talking about and waking up. The whole album is about truth and waking up. And so I'm excited to get this music out there and really go and promote something that I think could maybe wake up a couple people.
In fact, we've got your website on screen right now.
It looks like crap. It looks like crap.
No, it looks great. Stop it. No, but it's got an alarm clock, and it's flashing in green, wake up. And, we're going to go to break here in a moment. We're going to come back in with a world exclusive here on the air, Shooter, and I appreciate you doing that, of your new title track, Wake Up. And so I'm excited to have that here.
There's no better forum for this song, and I knew that it was the opportunity for the first piece of music to be heard would be right here, and with this song, it's perfect.
Well, that's exciting, and obviously Willie likes it because you're playing with him tonight. Say hi to Willie for me. I haven't called him in the last few months, and I need to stay in touch with him. We all get so busy. Months and months just flip by, but tell Willie I said hi when you see him tonight.
He's no stranger to that, and neither is any of us, so I absolutely will, buddy.
We know what he'll be doing on the bus this evening.
Reading books.
Yeah, reading books and... oh, my God. Oh, you know, it was fun being with Jesse Ventura and Willie on the bus.
Oh, man, I bet that was insane.
Oh, that was insane. That was insane. Up there playing chess with Willie, too, is always fun at his house. Okay, Shooter, we're going to go to break here in just a few minutes. Tell me about some of the other songs on the album. You say one of them's got some kind of background stuff from the Bohemian Grove in it. Yeah,
that's a song called Summer of Rage that I have on the album. That kind of deals with the coming police state to some degree, and you, which you're no stranger to. I mean, that you got all those movies you made about it, and it's like kind of dealing with, you know, it actually deals with them building the mass graves in the States and things like that. I mean, there's, you know, it's a pretty heavy song, but the whole album, it doesn't all deal with this. It's like there's moments that touch on this, but it touches a lot on the truth and love in your heart and the importance of that and the importance of two people being that, like two people in a you know, 2 points connecting is like the most important thing on the planet. So it deals with basically all these things, you know?
Well, it's like that Don Henley song, Inside Job.
Yeah,
we're going to change the world individually, one person at a time. And when we stop watching so much TV, when we stop fighting with each other, when we start really getting centered and not being as materialistic, that's when we can actually see the wider universe and not be completely controlled by Madison Avenue.
Absolutely. That is, you couldn't have said it better, man. That's the truth. You know, and that's a lot of the focus on this, and I'm really proud that we've worked over a year on this record, and it's like I feel like it's going to be something that, if anything, will express the importance of truth, you know?
When is the record coming out? I know this is a never-before-heard song we're about to hear, but when is it coming out officially?
It's going to come out sometime in the early 2010. We're aiming in February, but we don't have a firm date yet. We will soon. But we were originally going to put it out in November, and we pushed it back because we're kind of working on some other components to make it a little bit better and bigger and more of an experience.
Yeah, you will sell no wine until it's time, so you're crafting it. Well, it's a great song. We're going to come back after this quick break and play it. And we're also going to play a song where you guys did the music, and your father, Waylon Jennings, is singing. And, of course, I guess you're Waylon the second, but you go by Shooter. There's also the myspace.com/Shooter Jennings. So people can also check out your MySpace or just Google MySpace Shooter Jennings, and you'll find it. That's a cool name. If I have another son, I can name him Shooter. I never thought of one that cool. All right, Shooter. Shooter, stay there. We're going to come right back to you after this quick break. Again, it's myspace.com/Shooter Jennings or just shooterjennings.com, son of the legendary Waylon Jennings. We'll be right back.